I spoke about how that cult has spurred gender-based violence in the country, and frankly, can't nobody breathe because of it, okay? And how these men are rebellious, stubborn, and the reason why there's all these issues that we got going down in the streets, why now all of a sudden there is a proposed marriage bill of trying to induce isitembu, even under the common law, never mind under the customary law, blah, blah, blah. I've been doing videos basically covering these issues, okay? Yeah, I had a dream of this chick out here working in one of these factories as one of the females helping the wicked male agenda along. That was a vision and a dream. And then the vision that I heard, that I saw when I was wide awake walking, was of her saying, if I don't do this, she's going to think she's all that in a bag of potato chips. I'm out here thinking, another chick has out here come at me like a flying kick. And then she was like, has she died? Has she died? Checking my ministry to check if I've passed away. I didn't think anything of it until I went into my YouTube to publish my existing videos, and then find that red block that I never expected to ever see again, because people out here rescinded what they did to me initially. Chilling on 3 of my channels. The first one, it wasn't there, but then the second channel, it was there, the third and the fourth. My main channel, that red block is not there, but it's there on the second, third, and fourth. Yes, like a joke. Yazi, I'm just gonna talk at my leisure, alright, and get this off my chest. When I saw that red block, the incest of my Amnon cousin, coupled with all the demonic attack, I'm perpetually just bringing down strongholds, and then I get flooded again and again. The pain that I've just been enduring past couple of santings, it just made everything so terrifically bad that I rolled up my sleeves even though I didn't want to chat. I don't want to come and record a video. After all, I spoke for 9 hours yesterday. I break out. Like, this stuff is cathartic to me. This work is healing. It's the only way I conquer pain that is too extreme. But when the pain is so exorbitant that I don't know what to do with myself, what to say, because it's just a repeat of random rubbish, I press record and I can't help but sing. Something that gives me a great deal of pleasure and that I can only do when I am extremely euphoric. Sing. Sometimes happens when I'm desperately bereft. I get horny hubina when I'm in a lot of pain, cause I'm a jovial, jazzy singer. So if I'm singing, something's going on. If, however, I'm in a lot of pain, it means that the threshold of pain, the sorrow, has excelled beyond a flap, a certain threshold, a certain level. It has gone beyond a certain height, such that now the way that my body deals with the adrenaline rush is to flood me with a counter pleasure, like endorphins, chemicals that make me do that which is contrary to how I'm feeling inside. When I'm really bereft, when I'm really sad, but not beyond that threshold, I just rock up with a plain face and I talk. But when I am so devastated that I don't know whether I'm coming or going, I can't even pinch myself and feel it, I sing. So on days when I'm singing, and not all the time, sometimes I'm singing because I'm actually happy. Like I'm okay, like I've conquered, I'm in a clean space. In terms of spiritual war, I can tell that I'm loosed. So I rock up a little bit lighter on my feet. Sometimes it's just genuine peace, okay? But other times it's a panic musicality. And today's musicality was panic. It was a reaction to just extreme cancerous abuse on a woman that already fought for 9 hours yesterday, just explaining yet another demonic attack. That's what people in the occult do to human beings. That's what this magic of yours does to people. But you see, I'm not here to try to appeal to your consciences. You don't care. I'm here to try to appeal to the fact that because you do that, bye. My ministry is not focused on trying to make occult practitioners see that, oh, look, what you're doing is not right. They don't care. I'm trying to basically be the person to sing you a funeral dirge on the day before you die. On the day before you jump on a sword. I come here to tell them, because you broke me so badly, that heavily, you're gonna die. There is no talking to some of them. There's no reaching them for sense. They are precisely determined to afflict this much pain because they are that demon-possessed. It's written of such wicked men and women in the last days that they lack natural affection. They lack natural affection. They lack natural affection, so you can't appeal to their emotions, and diplomacy will never work. Diplomacy always fails. It excels beyond the point of negotiating with them to do better. So all you can do is just deliver a telegram. All you can do is deliver a notice of execution. All you can do with such evil men and women is to deliver them a letter of when they're going to go under the knife, when they're going to endure the lethal injection, the hanging, whatever is their mode of execution. They basically are already on death row. You just need to basically give them their last meal. Some people are that reprobate. And this little baboon at YouTube is reprobate, and I'm not here to appeal to her emotions, but I am here to appeal to the emotions of those who do have them, to discourage them from dabbling with dark arts, to discourage them from afflicting saints of God. There are dire consequences, and something that you do incontinently at a moment's notice, at a whim, without adding any consideration, inspired by nothing but random stuff like jealousy and inconsiderateness and narcissism, can be the end of your life. It can literally be the final straw for God. So it's a two-pronged approach here, this thing that I'm doing. I am both executioner, if you want to call it that, as well as arbitrator. I am trying to speak sense unto rehabilitation to whomever is salvageable. But I am also passing judgment, or pronouncing it, or rather just sending on the message, the note from the judge of date of execution. And this chick, this is her notice. She is being served. She is done for. There is no coming back from this. You don't get to do this kind of damage to people. You don't get to make me sing when I'm in a lot of pain and not have God essentially topple the tables with the money changers. You don't get to claim that a woman enjoyed sex that as she was being raped because she orgasmed in the middle of it. You don't get to say of me that, but she was singing, she was jovial, and that's why she deserved it. You don't get to bewitch me because I'm snappy, or come at me pouncing like a beast because I am sassy. Why am I sassy? Why under heaven am I apathetic to your ideas and what you think and how you feel? Why do I lack gentleness and tact sometimes in the way I speak? Look around. You rip me out of a career, and then when I innovate something to keep me busy, you keep on bewitching the living daylights out of me, so I will stop doing that too, so I can die. Why wouldn't I be sassy? Why wouldn't I be snappy? Why wouldn't I be feisty? Why wouldn't I be backbiting? Why would I not fight you when you're trying to kill me? Why would I not try to run when you're trying to rape me? It is a lack of consideration for the reason why sometimes I come so harsh in my ministries. that is going to cause God to eliminate you. Because some of my reactions are an adrenaline response. They are a knee-jerk reaction. And they are an enablement and an empowerment by the anointing of God to cope with that which a person without the Holy Spirit would certainly perish from. I am supernaturally surviving things that are supposed to kill me. And you keep going back to the drawing board perpetually to invest in new ways to sin. You keep experimenting with brand spanking new attempts on me, trying to see if they're going to yield some fruit. So when then you suddenly wake up in eternity, or chilling in an apartment that you have to now call the landlord to serve a notice of moving out because you no longer have a salary coming in, comprehend that unoyetsang removing advanced features on a YouTube channel of a person that you restored the advanced features on because Motona go bribile took his bribe back and you acted rogue. Why did you do that? You had to have foreseen it. It's a basic reasonable man test, frankly. You ought to have foreseen that you could end up losing your job when you do something like that. So I am no longer at this particular juncture delivering a warning. I am just delivering a judgment. It's that basic. Chiki wako YouTube. Oh, that's a done deal. There's nothing, you can't keep that. But you can keep your life, right? Because the people who are going to tell you, get the step in, you don't get to work for us anymore. The people who are going to tell you, get the step in, you don't work for us anymore, don't have the magnanimity of God. You see, God is slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love, not willing that anybody should perish, but that all should come to a knowledge of him. So while the Lord is a lot more forbearing of you than them, take his grace and his judgment. Because that's just the thing about God. He's a combination of mercy and judgment. When you are still awarded both, it means you're alive and breathing, albeit handled. Take grace with your unemployment and nakedness and everything, with that walk of shame, with security guards out of your company, or with you being told, if at all you work from home, to bring in your laptop and your access card because you have a disciplinary hearing. Yeah, honey, take that with salvation, because God has not door slammed you, but the people you work for have. Mankind is not as magnanimous. Mankind is not as forgiving. Mankind does not take as many prisoners, but God, every so often, will linger and suffer you for a very long amount of time, because herein lies the deal. He sees that you've been convicted all this time, but instead of repent, you decided to try one last time to see if you can make Karabo just exactly what you are. A compromising, settling baboon, a prolific mess, an ideological Satanist. Whether or not you do magic art on your own capacity is irrelevant, because you keep taking bribes. So you're an ideological Satanist. You are a buffoon of prolific proportions. Granted that you've been awarded an opportunity to see that this stuff doesn't pay, and now you're about to lose the job of a lifetime that would have ushered you into a grandiosity of prosperity and a most covetable position. Now you are going to have to scrummage the streets of this dying South Africa, impended by civil war, and try and find a job in that mosh pit. But you can come out of all that, at least, at least, as a Christian. You threw your own career away. Now join the bandwagon of getting fired. Learn what it's like to be me. But I will never know what it's like to be you, because I was fired without cause. You, on the other hand, had this one coming. You don't get to break people's hearts like that, occult practitioners, and not have God mobilize activity on the left and on the right on their behalf. You proper comeuppance is nigh, Cherry Ena is child's matlakala o. She's child's play in comparison to what God is going to do with some of y'all high priests in the occult. Some of y'all prolific devil worshippers. Cherry is just one of your minions. Do you understand? So if at all the Lord can do that to die matlakala random rubbish, what is he doing to you? What is he about to do to you? Why the heck am I busy singing when I'm so bereft? Why do I have a cousin that wants to have sex with me? Why under heaven does my life look anything like this when I'm this talented? You see, you're the ones that put yourselves in a position to look really culpable, because I am too gifted, too colorful, too creative to get binary code on my YouTube channel. That little baboon at YouTube that took away my advanced features is only going to bring more attention to my channel, causing it, therefore, to be questioned as to, okay, so her advanced features nowhere to be found, sharp. That was something that we did not decree. But on top of that, yo, this is such good content. How does it have no views? Ones and zeros. So not want to get back to a channel that, listen to this, has high quality content with very gifted thumbnails. But I can't upload as many of these thumbnails as I want, because every so often when your advanced features get taken away, your thumbnails, you can't upload them. You can't put more than 8 thumbnails a day, 6 thumbnails a day, 7. It's temperamental. It's not really sure how many is the maximum quota per day. But I have to go, basically, if I've got like both an animated alongside a regular me series of 10 videos, I've got to take in my stride that one of my videos is not going to have a thumbnail. Again, I must go back to that. And on top of that, I gotta go back to uploading 10 videos again, videos on YouTube. And if my computer should short circuit, if it should switch off, if there should be some issue with the solar panels, and then I try to re-upload again, it's going to tell me you've reached your maximum quota of daily uploads for the day, even though I have not yet uploaded 15 videos. But YouTube sees it as 15, because when I first uploaded the first 10 and then there was a power cut, when I tried to finish uploading the remaining 5, it sees it as more than 15. So I have to wait 24 hours before I can upload again. All that difficulty, all those logistics are going to then cause me to post basically less and less. That would be okay if somebody didn't already. That would be okay if somebody didn't already basically stop that reign of terror. All that this crazy, wicked attempt on my life achieves is more creativity. I can knock down tools because I have a coping strategy. I have a coping mechanism, and it involves a whole bunch of art. It involves a whole bunch of creativity. And my creativity is fruit. And these fruit, when I bear them, decimates something of the kingdom of darkness. So sisters, you are not only in trouble with your company, but with the cult leaders you sit under. But what you are is a byproduct of the classical conditioning over women in the black community in this country. This little South Africa of yours, you can take it, keep it, wear it like bum shorts at the beach, all naked. But I am leaving it, like it or not. You will endure a civil war, because people on the ground are going to be beefed up, fed up, done. Up to here, and anywhere else that they can be. With your destruction of a country that people are still happy to live in. I'm not happy to live here anymore. I used to be. But there are others that call this home or whatever. There are other people that quite frankly like the roof over their heads. There are other people that quite frankly like running water. There are other people that quite frankly like bumper to bumper traffic, albeit it being rote, mundane, and an everyday whatever to go through. There are other people that quite frankly like dropping off crying kids, messing up with knickknacks on the carpet of the car at crash in the morning. There are people who like their boring, peaceful lives, and you have declared war on the country, such that trivialities like knickknacks on the carpet of a sedan from some toddler that has no respect for the fact that you just shampooed your car yesterday, taking that away is going to crawl up the skirts of certain people, okay? It's going to make like a tick out you're crawling in the hair of some people. And they will do everything to fight the fact that you are fighting their peace. This here situation is going to result in a civil war on the land, because you do not get to disenfranchise the biggest population of a country and it not result in so much poverty, so much distress, want, lack, and disquiet, that upon gazing at the strange, unscathed disposition of certain other people within the same demographic group, you would not then feel a sense of irritation as to why you are not able to lift the knickknacks mo carpeting ya koloi, while somebody else easily does that. Black people, you are the main demographic in this country, the majority. And some of y'all got kitties, knickknacks, in your backseat, and that's all you're irritated about. While there are others who are among your peers, you went to the same schools, you did the same things, you had the same socioeconomic conditions, same socio-political conditions, same basically environment, nature versus nurture. Your nurture was similar, albeit your nature being every so often nuanced because of what your parents gave you. And yet look at how vastly different Karabo is from her former best friend. Look at how vastly different, awarded literally the same opportunities, went to the same schools, and sought the same goals. And yet one person is groveling on the floor, collecting their teeth for breakfast, while another is wiping umjogozo wamntwana in a car seat. And that's all that they're frustrated by. You see, these disparities, these inequalities are going to cause civil war hearts in these people, saying you don't get when to keep on no pumula majogozo, and that's all that you are worried about. You don't get to keep doing that, while I struggle to do basic things like eat, while I can't have umntwana at the age of 40 because angachadwa because njandini uthagathe my prospects for marriage. You don't get to grow up together with the same conditions, awarded the same opportunities, and both grabbed them. There was no one lazy who did not grab their goals, who decided to go and become a junkie while the other one was still in school. You all did the same thing, and yet strangely law has tanked while you soared. These discrepancies are going to cause the masses on this side to see this nonsense for what it is. This little optical illusion and this little artificial intelligence, where you look like nihlakanipile and you are hard workers because you're tagata, whereas there are geniuses out here scooping out buckets of rainwater after a flood from Mukuku, and yet mega trapa in trigonometry in matric. Lona ba ko sekolong ne ke le dumpa academically. In terms of my career in the beginning of it, wah, with a bat on your head, the way meaning shamin shangakon. Ne ke le rabaza, I told you earlier that in first year psych COVID, I once got 88% for a multiple choice exam with negative marking by simply paging through a textbook the night before, and I got out of there 88%. Umuntu that can do stuff like that basically kind of walk on water, okay? Kaze wenzani, living in a shack at the back of her mother's house at the age of 40. I'm top of that, like I'm beautiful, okay? I'm pretty, like in the worst way, quite typically. Kimupil. I haven't dated in 13 years. Been single sonkeles kati. I am a virtuous woman. You would imagine that I'd have a whole bunch of guys out here trying to literally chop off my toes with their mouths. The way that they're so out here trying to kiss my feet. And yet I'm single 13 years kaofela asiboloikeng mo. I mean, situation in a obviously, guys, in ways that are calculable, quantifiable, empirically so. As with a microscope, gawking at a petri dish with cultures, moving fluidly, with you able to identify each last one of them. I am identifiably and quantifiably, obviously, a taboo case of hadnok. And there are other people just like me, who, strangely, are nowhere in life, albeit having done everything right, dotted their I's, crossed their T's. Good girls, good guys, as bemi, as pussy. Siya strive kodwa pusheg, siya pusha kodwa pusheg, siya hamba kodwa hambeg, siya zama kodwa zameg, kodwa inja. And then busy skirting on the thin ice of 51%, the way she was so freaking mediocre. She out just slaying South Africa, looking like she's freaking intelligent. Get chartered accountant, Mara. Board exam ya teng was I 7. Ke lawyer. Mara wenze first year high 4. Ke project manager. Only because of the boss ya teng. And yet, star students, stellar citizens, keeping themselves in a bunch, are entire graduated teachers and accountants, navigating cars out of parking lots. Who did we become accounting graduate? There is a dude with a chemical engineering degree, authoring posters at Nico Builder's warehouse saying Painter Tyler, saying excavator, whatever. Because 15 years ago, after graduating from Technicon, so I mean, he had to do what he had to do, and now he's a construction worker, and that's all that he can do. Wazama. And then you look at his house, fine, no reka a decent property, and since he's in construction, since he's in construction, it looks really cute, but from your thing, it's got beautiful tiles. Since he's in construction, it's got beautiful taps. Since he's in construction, the kitchen cupboard, but he should be living in Ilovo. Like, frankly, he should be living in Ilovo, but he's got just some quaint little, 3-bedroomed house in Soweto. I'm sorry. Like, that is the country. There are discrepancies in what's going on. And I want to walk dom. You don't get to grow up nonke. Linzale dawa, linwadi methylated spirits. Javarenga fella doing the same things, and then one day sobering to realize man just says kulil. And then focusing on your careers, and then somehow, somewhere along the way, one of y'all falls flat on the ground with there being nothing to account for that behavior. Lomuntu did not fall into hard knock drugs. Lomuntu did not fall into hard knock he did not develop a mental illness, schizophrenia, bipolar. There is nothing to account for why Usizwe is literally looking like a matriculant, barely making it in terms of salary yachache, while Jabu is soaring, running, entire multinational organizations, being the board of directors on many of them. Same trajectories, different outcomes, with limited understanding to account for why one fell so much, or why one was so thwarted while the other was elevated. Lahlanya matekwane alwa tsubileng khutlie where audience very high. You are on opioids that are catastrophic in your bones, making you super high to imagine that no one sees that these Satanists. And elobungo mabenu that go and grab totally gifted people like Karabo and make them shack dwellers at 40. Get you from a distance, I'm gonna make like Vanessa Williams from from a distance, I'm gonna watch the billows of smoke of your country as it's drowning. God is watching you, so will I also be watching you. We will all be watching you from a distance. I get already for 10 years. The obviousnesses are already gawking at you. Me, I gotta go and give birth to my twins. I'm saying as Kati, I'm gonna be an old mama out here walking around with 30-year-olds at 5-year-old birthday parties. And I can like get in my mid-40s to my late 40s. I don't have time to be fighting the war that you were supposed to fight for yourselves. But bottom line is this: the thing I noticed before it reared its ugly head too exquisitely 10 years ago, now it is so obvious that it's going to result in a civil war. I've been saying it time and time again. Wabona matlakala o alona wako YouTube. She's only the pin drop in the ocean. Yeah, I insist we enjoy one that's collecting a salary out here working for an American company. She's the only one that is insisting on being part of the diaspora. Why insist? We're the only one that is in any position to out here be benefiting from global commerce to a point of infringing on my constitutional rights as a South African to make a living, of freedom of speech, to basically be who I want to be, out here fly like a bird. She's broken so many laws, she doesn't even know that, frankly, right now, at this present juncture, she is a criminal. She has also infringed on my right to life and has owned me damages, vicariously so is YouTube essentially responsible for taking away my rights to earn a living. And also freedom of expression and freedom of, yes, religion too. But you see, your disregard of the South African Constitution and all other statute is the very thing that's going to cause abantu chilling in Alex, Soweto, wherever it is that they might be in the slums while you're chilling in your high rises in Ilovo, to basically burp irritation with about why but you have made it and I haven't. The very same thing that makes you covet a person to destruction is going to cause the poor to covet you to destroying your futures, your lives. They're going to come at you in your apartment buildings where you are super freaking comfortable, and they're going to say, I'm sorry, I was supposed to be sitting on that couch, because they're going to suspect you for the very thing that you exactly are, Moloi. You don't get to think that you can destroy your country like your little Yummy, a small little child out here murdering a whole bunch of folk, and not be killed just like little Yummy at a very tiny age. Your democracy is only 30 years old, and yet look at how you've fallen apart. I do apologize. I'm going to be looking at you from a distance, Lankudra, a distance. And pretending that this is not a travesty on the part of the South African economy. But you see, I don't care. Why? Because you don't care. I did say earlier that I am not trying to appeal to your consciences or for you to be reasonable at this present juncture. I'm rather just kind of passing judgment at this moment. That's all I'm doing. I'm just passing judgment. Bringing pleasure into the body of a very pained person because that's the only way that I can cope. You don't get to keep me in so much adrenaline 24 hours a day and think that you're going to be good. I also do not care for your guilt because it's written in God's word that godly guilt leads to repentance. You've not done that, have you? Instead, you're walking in a worldly guilt that leads to death. Your sins, your desires have brought about sin of which when it is fully grown has brought about death. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, so too shall he reap. So your guilt is of no essence to me. Why? Because it is worldly. It feels entitled. It wants to continue to proliferate this thing. It wants to finish what it started. Do you understand? Your guilt is the kind of guilt that wants to wash the blood of the king off its hands, obsessive compulsively so, crying mourning as to why did I kill her when I already felt so bad. You are trying to be Lady Macbeth. I get Lily guilty. I am going to leave out of a country that I was comfortable to live in at some point. You've made it insufferable. Uduzi, in a big fat chunky job as a chartered accountant, despite striving through mathematics and matric, because you were dumb. Whereas a student that actually just pages through a textbook, what you have is indeed what we call artificial intelligence, and just like AI, you've also reached singularity. That looks smart. And because of Tabauri, it took 20 times more effort for you to do basic things. You went and grabbed your most skilled and your most gifted South Africans that merely skim through a textbook and still get 80%. To gather dust at the backs of their mothers' houses, struggling to find anything to do at all so they don't pass away from boredom. Le dom, but you look smart. That's why leng patile ga botlhoko ga kana. You are ugly, but you look pretty. And that's why you're burying me so horrifically. You are worthless, but you look worthwhile. And that's why you're burying me so terribly. You are aimless, but you look purposeful. And that's why you've seen it fit to put me in a ditch. So having shared that, classically conditioned Pavlov's dogs, women, I keep saying this time and time again, the disease in this country is far gone. Only thing that can fix it is for you to be ravaged by war. Then only will you see it necessary to start diagnosing the cancer that has metastasized for what it is. You are too far gone to recover before war starts. You are in dire need of being cleansed by fire. The Pavlovian model of conditioning has it such that you end up doing favors for an oppressor, even when you gain no reward for those favors, simply because you've been trained to hate something you are supposed to love. Women, the oppressive misogynistic grain in the country has trained you to hate each other so much that even when there's nothing in it for you, if anything, you're going to lose your job, matakala, aren't you? You still nonetheless destroy fellow women to help men rape them. They have succeeded, and there is no fixing this country but for by fire. You basically have to ruin it until you come in concert with each other that it has to be built. You have to die before you can live. There's no other way, because you're far gone. Your disease has metastasized South Africa. You are done for. You can recover, but you will never recover without first destroying each other because you're too selfish. Those among you that are wealthy will continue to maintain insistence on keeping the poor poor, even though they're smarter than you, bigger than you, better than you, prettier than you, more able than you. You will still insist on hiding them because you will still want to hoard for yourself. So they necessarily must rise up and take you over. They necessarily must coup you. They must overwhelm you. They must capture you. They must incarcerate you in prison cells and then take the country back. Otherwise, you're not going to give it to them freely. You are greedy, you are rapacious, you are narcissistic, and you are going to hold on to power until it is taken from you. You don't deserve to run this country, and so the impoverished and disenfranchised will take it back from you. Therefore, you cannot avoid civil war. Because women, you are Pavlov's dogs under a tyrannical, cynical, destructive, chauvinistic and misogynistic regime that out here is insisting that women be barefoot, pregnant in kitchens, embracing isitembu even under common law. It's over. Let me just explain the Pavlov experiment to you just in case you don't know what I'm talking about. Ivan Pavlov was a psychiatrist or theorist, whatever you want to call him, and he experimented on dogs to train behavior. He had a metronome. Others say it was a ringing bell. Really make your choice. It's up to you. It's been repeated multiple times. So I'll run with the metronome for now. A metronome out here ticking, saying kat, 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 going left to right. That is a stimulus, an audible stimulus that the dogs hear. And this stimulus was paired with meat that was fed to the dogs every time the metronome would be made to tick, tick, tick. So they hear the metronome ticking, tick, tick, tick. And then at the same time as starting the metronome ticking, they would then feed these dogs meat. After enough repetitions of ticking the metronome right next to feeding these dogs meat, the dogs then started to salivate every time they heard the metronome ticking, tick, 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 because they anticipated that they would get fed meat. And for a few sessions or iterations, they would indeed give them meat at the ticking of the metronome, right next to the dogs salivating. So the dogs would salivate for that which would be an eventual reward. So it was a conditioned response where it is that they would pair the stimulus, that is the metronome, with the feeding of the dog, which is the reward. So it is a paired reward a conditioned response with this paired stimulus. This happened for a couple of iterations further to basically train the dogs that particular behavior, the behavior in question that was being sought being the salivation, to pant and expect for food to be given you. Then Pavlov extracted the reward from the equation, the reward of which is what? The meat. He extracted the meat, but then kept the metronome. Lo and behold, look at the dogs being trained to salivate anyway, without the meat. They removed the meat and continued with the metronome. And so Pavlov's dogs salivated every single time that metronome or that bell rang, with or without them being given meat. That's called a conditioned response. You are basically trained to do something even when there is nothing in it for you anymore. Women, gender-based violence in this country has reached astronomical heights, and you keep on helping men afflict you. Initially, they rewarded you to afflict me. This little matlagala at YouTube is Pavlov's doggy dog. They gave her a bribe, they paid her money to afflict an innocent woman. They did this for so long, and I would imagine that I'm probably not the only person that she has done this to. They did this to her for so long, basically rewarded her to hurt women, rewarded her to hurt women, rewarded her to hurt women. They kept on giving her piles of cash, wads. Maybe she was even able to, let them know just how thick the wad should be. Just to afflict a content creator here, content creator there. Hurt another woman. Likely not only at YouTube, but probably even out there in the wilderness in her life. I will give you this much if you do this for me. I will give you this much if you do this for me. I will give you this much if you ignore this. If you do that, if you do that. So she basically was trained to disregard the exquisite sorrow of another woman in exchange for meat. I mean, when you're out, you're looking at a wad nje fela skoto singaga. Sadi 100 rand. At some point, you're gonna have your conscience seared as to the sorrow you are inducing in another woman's bones. Initially, she might have been uncomfortable, so essentially, you get given a reward, but you don't salivate after it, do you? But after enough of these 10,000 rands wads being given to this woman, with her going on shopping sprees after destroying a woman's life, after destroying another person's life, doing whatever. Every single time then a phone call came through, dring dring from Jabu, dring dring from Temba, dring dring from Mark, dring dring from Tembiso, dring dring. That's like the metronome. The metronome of which is paired with what? With what? Meat. You are expecting that every time you hear from a guy to call in a favor, hear from a guy to enable you along, that of course you're going to get 10,000 rands. Of course you're going to get 50,000 rands. Of course you're going to get 2,000 rands. Such that when then Marky Mark is not even paying you, when there's nothing in it for you, when Gutuli Lenje, but there's a general desire by a male sentiment for you to ignore the cause of a suffering woman. You pant, you salivate. Where's the meat? Nowhere. Where's the 1,000? Never mind, 5. You salivate. Where is the 10,000? Never mind, 20. You salivate. Where is the job promotion that you get because of this favor that you pulled in for this baboon? But look at you, pant. Just helping men along, J. To destroy a country of the biggest demographic of women on the ground because they're black and they're in Southern Africa. So what it produces is an epidemic of mindless drones of women, batusang banna, hosenya basadi, even when they are no longer benefiting from it. What they gained at first, they're no longer gaining anymore. I keep saying that witchcraft and all of these favors you pull in for wicked men and women also follows the trajectory of the law of diminishing marginal returns. With each new unit added of satiating thing, there is less and less satisfaction. You literally burp over time until you flatline, you plateau, such that now it is no longer worth the while to keep pushing this thing. Because it's nauseating. It gets to a point where you become bilious because you're eating too much. If you are nostalgic, if you feel sad all the time, if you feel empty, if you've lost friends, if you are no longer tight with your sisters, why the heck are you still helping Sibusiso to destroy yet more women? You keep on ripping apart friendships, ripping apart sister bonds. You are ripping apart collegial relations among female colleagues, just in the interest of some dude winking at you when you're done, because look at you salivate after the affection of a man that's not even giving it to you. You do know that is the judgment on Adam and Eve, right? Adam is to lord it over her with an iron fist, while Eve will desire her husband no matter what. So you want men's love so much that even when they're not giving it to you, you are still groveling after it. You will do them favors just to get an iota of a wink from them. And these men are just happy to just rule you, and pride themselves not loving you the way that Christ loved the church. Pride themselves in the fact that they get everything they want out of you. Pride themselves in slapping you with reverse psychology and you groveling anyway. You are little conditioned puppies. And I will have nothing to do with it. Like, you're done for. I kid you not. I kid you not, South Africa, you are literally done for. Do you understand? You keep on plotting and scheming my funeral. You keep on saying of me that I gotta die. Because look at you Pavlovian idiots. Sending a woman to the grave because one last favor for you, Jomo. One last favor for you, Peter Pan. One last favor for you, Jack Sparrow. One last favor for you, any random kind of bad boy in the streets. Keep destroying your female culture. Keep destroying the love and the nurture that ought dwell ever so ontologically naturally inside the bones of a woman. Keep on withering away at your God-ordained nurture. Keep on taxing yourselves, Basadi Lankutla, until you are nothing but a vacuous hole, just a canyon, an abysmal, twisting in the wind, a vortex inside you, just a mere shell of your former self. Zwelangpele, with all of your voidness, le echo that's bouncing off the walls inside the chest cavity that you call a heart. Carry on and be Medusa until you wake up with no love, because Jomo is unloving. After you pull a favor in for him, he just moves on to the next thing he can use, and he is not going to buy you flowers, and he is not going to stop cheating, and he is not going to marry you even though you keep sleeping with him, and he is not going to respect or honor you. He's never going to see you as more than a betraying, backstabbing, baboony woman. He is never ever going to see you as anything worth the while, because the thing about these wicked men is they are hypocrites. They always like really good girls, even though they are worthless. They are wretched men, but they love good girls. So you being this baddie that are just doing him favors is still going to cause him to salivate outside of my life, don't you see? You are a means to an end, and I'm the end. They want me, and they are using you to get to me, because I am still such a good girl. They're hypocrites. And they've told themselves that in so far as she can have no one taking care of her, no female company, is divide and conquer, we will eventually get Karabo. You are being used to get to me. If I was prepared Mina to accommodate them, they would love me. They would fly me across this planet, jet set me. They would sweep me off my uneasy feet. The Lord keeps telling me they're prepared to apologize to me. All you are is a bridge, don't you see? You are a doormat. You are that which they want to walk over to get to me. Your little hypocritical psychopaths use you bad women and decimate your character, cause you to lose friendships with women so they can get to the very women that they made you sabotage, because they're so weak and lack so much character that absent of them, weakening the living daylights out of the subject of their desire, they can never get her. Like, they're so whack and so mean-spirited that unless a woman is desperate, that's why they need me to suffocate. They need me to asphyxiate. But you see, the end result of this, if there was no God, which there is, but you're nihilistic, would be my death. Like, Papa, I would pass away fast and furious before I would accommodate any of these creeps. But you don't know that. They're making you murder a woman that they think at some point, just insofar as you endure her through enough attrition, will eventually capitulate. Amadoda abolile adibobi adidogo dogo. Strangely still love good girls. It's one of those opposites attract, eh? They think that insofar as you can deal with a volcano right next to a lake, you've got a beautiful relationship. They love to burden good girls with all their indiscretions. They love to go and infect good women with HIV. They absolutely adore ugyokhathaza umfazi ozithobile or khotleletseng ka indiscretion yabona. That's why basadi bagcina bale so like blasé faced, like just catatonic in marriages. Because they start out these sweet little konyanas, however, dealing with indoda esindayo nje tlo bora. And then now when I say akidikeni I guess bicycle I'm saying baleha, they are like hamba ke uyongena emgodini. They love me to death. Amadoda njalo. Men that claim that imagine that the very be all and end all of the most outward working out of love is to go into eternity with the love of your life if she won't be with you. I'm a murder-suiciders, essentially. Axamato, the Kidinja in South Africa is just manufacturing them, popping them like pills, like Smarties. What a lot, what a lot, what a lot I got. It's these men. These cults are manufacturing murder-suicide men who fall violently in love with women that don't want them and tell themselves, Shona Karabo. Duh, I gotta leave South Africa. Like, it's just so clear. I have got to leave this gangster joint. I'm not safe here. That's why I'm going to be watching you from a distance with billows of smoke. From a very far distance. Kidi bona, di bombs alona, your shelling, your mushroom clouds. I will see them from another country. I fought my fight. I ran my race. And I kept my faith. And now it's time for me to go and live. Because I tried to save this country. You are no longer salvageable. You can only be rescued by civil war. Do not say I do not warn you. I warned you. As for wena matlagala, bright side, look at this half full, cup half full, instead of half empty. You are about to be newly unemployed, but so too are a whole bunch of other South Africans. So, seeing as you like to relate and be in camaraderie with one another, kumbaya, sway left to right and say we're in this together. Yeah, you're gonna have enough people with whom to relate about your unemployment because all you're content with is to be able to relate about trash. You never fix anything, you just are happy to relate. So, more people are about to lose their jobs, not just you. Therefore, all my artistry and my baking, the paintings that I now like to do, but I haven't been able to buy paint palettes and canvases and the like. I will do that from somewhere else far away. I will decorate the walls of my house with my artworks because I'm gonna get a house. And I am going to make my daughters pretty and my sons handsome. I'm gonna raise them up in the admonition of the Lord. I'm gonna pop babies like I'm still in my 20s and you're gonna be in shock and disbelief while you are running away from tear gas because yes, it's coming. You are finally going to watch me live while you die, because for years you will have watched me die while I watched you live. The tables are about to turn just like it's written in God's word. The disciples, when they mourn, you rejoice, but look at me, rejoice not that you're about to cry. I tried. I did attempt for your souls, but you did nothing but spit in my face and then try to sleep with me as family members. I've got an incestuous cousin. I will not deal with this lackluster country any longer. I kid you not, I'm leaving. Whether or not you imagine that this here is a pie-in-the-sky dream, it's happening. Why? Because I serve the same God that was able to accurately predict your dismissal, honey. So trust that same God that successfully predicted accurately your dismissal has also then predicted my departure from OR Tambo International Airport to, yes, another country. The country of which I have been highlighting time and time again, and I will continue to do that, is the United States of America. You are being grated in your bones like cheese on a grater, precisely because it's not Zimbabwe or Lesotho or Botswana or some other neighboring third world country that RJ is having a hard time coughing. Move out to the baddest country in the game, and so you are trying to block that, and no, it's not going to work. I am moving there because God prepares for me that which neither eye has seen, nor ear heard, nor mind conceived, that which he has prepared for those who wait for him. I've done that for 13 years since coming to him, and 10 of those 13 years have been in violent obscurity. I am a painter now, but I can't even paint because you've made me poor. I'm a baker now, but I can't even bake because you've made me poor. I am a designer, but I can't even learn how to sew because you've made me poor. I wanted to learn how to play guitar, but haven't gotten around to doing that because, like I said, you've made me poor. I'm not told that you have not tried to block, but all my artistry alongside all my other general intelligence, yeah, that's about to be ultimately exploited by a country that's not out here chilling on its gross domestic product by ascertaining its citizens go nowhere. I'm moving, like it or not. And as for you there, Matlakala, go YouTube, you had your dismissal coming. There is no way under heaven you could have anticipated that this here situation would have ended in anything other than this particular reality. It is unfortunate, but it is what it is. You could not expect in any level of believability that your daughters and your sons and your sons' daughters and your sons' sons would still be thriving the South Africa that you presently today are living in, with whatever's going on in the gonorrhea infested hearts that you now presently have. Your hearts have like proper STDs. Your hearts are like ones that are rolling around with STDs because your culture is sexually perverse. You could not expect that you could carry on like this, and your Gen Z and Gen Alpha daughters would then RJ be giving birth to Gen Beta, maybe even Delta sons and daughters that are going to proliferate a South Africa that is still largely what it presently looks like. You could not have seen that coming. You are the beginning stages of destruction of your own country. You could not have imagined that your very young, just newly leaving high school Gen Zs, and of course Gen Alphas, are going to grow up in a South Africa that still looks like this. It's already cracking up. It's held together by sticky tape. It's already bursting at the seams. Look at your roads. Look at your electrical infrastructure. Look at your parliament. And look at your own hearts. Look at what you've done inside your own families, your own households. Look at the number of men that are married to women that did not actually agree to their proposal, but they were brought in there korobela. This is not a sustainable world full of force and coercion. Look at what's happening with me. I mean, a country that is insisting on taking me by force, and I'm 40. How much more a glorious 18-year-old from Matric? How much more are they going to be coerced into marriage? When your men are trying to proliferate isitembu under the common law, are you serious? You can't see a Gen Delta baby living in the exact same South Africa that you're looking at today, especially considering your electrical infrastructure is already, presently, kept together with masking tape. Why do we even have solar panels? Mochai. You cannot expect this present state of South Africa to be tomorrow's South Africa, seeing as it's already on its way out. It is literally on its way out. Absent of you coming to agree that that's a thing, you will never heal. And the sad and disquieting thing as well about my case is that it could totally result in my death. It won't, but it could. We know that it's a total potential reality. Nobody lives like this and just continues to thrive and thrive and thrive, right? I mean, one can agree. If I did die, people like me will keep dying. I mean, you do realize like that's some of your best people, and never mind best, just innocent. Even if I wasn't all that stellar or excellent at what I did, I would still be innocent. And when the innocent just keep on getting bludgeoned by the indiscretion of the severely guilty, civil war Like, a crime state is not a going concern, okay? It's not something that people are going to just sit under indefinitely without fighting back. There is a thing about a longing for peace in people, and when you don't maintain it, people will forcibly try to instill it. In the book of Revelation, peace and security, peace and security. Now, Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd. And then suddenly there is calamity. Why is there even peace and security, peace and security? Why are there chants and calls for it? Why are the grunts in the streets for it? They are looking for it because mankind, albeit being born for adversity, nonetheless is forever striving for peace. We are always trying to find chill. Striving is not comfortable. Our bodies are not made to take in a whole bunch of hardship without them seeking out relief. It is the reason you remove your hand from the stove when it gets too hot. You always want peace. When you are too tired, you sit down. When you're sick, you lie down because you want healing. So a sick country is not a nation that is at any level. It's not any kind of maintained homeostasis. Nobody is just going to sit around with it like that, oozing pus on the side of the street, about to bleed out with a severity of sepsis in its body. No. When something is in pain, people will always try to make it all better. The country is bleeding. You are not going to be kept comfortable in your cushy jobs. You are not going to be allowed to keep on dropping off your kids at school and picking them up without people trying to administer medication to the sick disease that you are. You have made South Africa a throbbing leg. It will not rest until it gets some kind of painkiller. Understand, civil war is coming. Don't say I didn't warn you. I'm signing out in the name of Christ, Cran K. Peace.